Hey guys, welcome to Waypoint X Wednesday. My name is Judd. Let's get started. Before we get to our special guest, guys, this is 1 week away basically before we go down to Florida Jeep Jam down in Panama City. So if you're there, please come say hi to us. We're going to be at the obstacle course. We are actually building that. And so we would love for you to come out and say hi to us, shake your hand, get to know a little bit about your story and your Jeep. And so just come out there and have a great time. And if you are not planning on going, you need to change your plans. So that's next weekend. So when it's filmed, when you're seeing this Wednesday, it will be the next following weekend. So you'll want to come out and check that out. But let's get to our guest because that's the whole reason you are here. We've got Dan Proctor from Mud Tire Media. And so welcome to the show.
Hey, man. Thank you for having me. I love it.
So Dan and I just give you a brief story before he kind of goes into his spill. We actually met at Florida Jeep Jam a long time ago. It's been quite a few years, probably 4 or more, something like that.
Man, it feels like forever. I think really we made it 4, 5, somewhere around that. I know it's at least 5 years now.
Yeah, and I literally that was in the beginning stages of our YouTube channel, and I was like, I want to do a Jeep walk around while we're here. We saw his Jeep just going through the parking lot, and we were like, we want to do a Jeep walk around to that Jeep. And so we made it happen. So go check out that video. That was a long time ago.
Probably so long ago.
Probably done a lot to that Jeep since then. But that's how we met. And we've actually been on a few wheeling trips together. So just by chance. And it's been cool. But Dan, I'm going to let you kind of, have your spill of what Mud Tire Media is and who you are. And
first off, Judd, thank you so much for having me. These Waypoint X Wednesdays are killing it. I'm loving it. So what I'm doing is actually watching them on the TV in the garage while I'm wrenching away, and it's a perfect way to spend my day. So anyways, what is Mud Tire Media? Well, it's just kind of a YouTube publication that I started not too long ago after so many people wanted to see what was going on the trails, and I had so many people reaching out and asking technical questions about Jeeps, off-roading, and there was so much constantly that I was talking about and showing people from my trips. And finally, one day it just hit. It was like, why don't I just give a shot just showing off some of this? Just go ahead and throw it out there for people to have. And turns out, people sometimes like the wheeling videos. People love to tech talk. So I think that's really where Mud Tire Media has really started gearing towards.
Awesome. So where can they find you, as whether it's, YouTube or Instagram and all that good stuff?
Yeah, so I have primarily been set up on YouTube, and that's YouTube at Mud Tire Media. And then I'm also on Instagram as well, and I occasionally post there. But honestly, most of the Instagram posts are only when I'm actively on a trail or promoting a video that's about to come out. I'm not really that active on Instagram.
Gotcha. Well, yeah. So while you're standing here, you can hit pause, open up another tab, and go subscribe to Mud Tire Media on YouTube. He would very much appreciate it. Watch a few of his videos, hit that, like button, comment, bell, all the good stuff for YouTube. But man, that's awesome.
Bing, bing.
Yeah, absolutely. So the struggle is real, guys. So definitely help us out and hit those buttons for both of our channels. We'd much appreciate it. But hopefully you'll enjoy this show because I think we're going to get into some cool topics and a lot of great questions. And so, like most of our Waypoint X Wednesdays, they go for 15, 20 minutes. We might run a little long here just because we do have a guest on the show and a lot to talk about with Dan from Mud Tire Media. So let's get started in some questions. What got you into off-roading? And you can kind of, I guess, transition into that. What are you off-roading right now?
Oh, dude, it was so messed up because before I was into off-roading, I actually had a 911 Turbo, and I was a sports car connoisseur, I guess you could really say. I mean, I was a nut job for, fast cars. And after my daughter was born, that was my first kid, and I quickly realized that I have too much of a heavy foot. And so my way to save myself from getting myself into trouble was to get a vehicle that I thought I couldn't possibly go fast in. which is a
Right.
Jeep. You throw a brick on wheels and there you go. You're not going anywhere quickly.
Right.
So that's what really got me into Jeeps and starting to go off-roading, because I'm always an auto because I'm auto.
Enthusiast.
Wow, what am I saying?
There you go.
Enthusiast. There we go. I don't know what I'm saying here.
There you
So
go.
I'm always been an auto enthusiast. And so when I started getting off road in my Jeep, I found out I loved it, man. And the more I wheeled, the more I wanted to go down the harder trail every time I went
Right.
out. And before I knew it, a basic Rubicon just wasn't cutting it. And so I had my first vehicle was that 2015 Rubicon Hard Rock that I met you in. And I did some decent mods to that one. I went crazy with the body armor and
Right.
steel everywhere you could shove it.
Absolutely.
If you remember, I mean,
Well,
it was a bit gaudy, but
but if you think about it, though, that was the thing. 5-6 years ago was
it was.
all the metal you can just throw on it, all the armor and everything, and you hope for the best.
Oh man, that was it. Yeah, that was my mindset at that time, because I was like, I bent one body panel and I was like, oh man, if I can throw steel on this body, well, let's just throw that there.
Let's just
Yeah,
make it a tank.
so yeah, exactly. So I wheeled that 2015 for 4 years, and that was how I met you. Oh man, where all did I meet you? I met you,
Texas,
Florida, Texas. Arkansas?
Yeah,
Was it Arkansas too? Yeah,
Missouri. I don't
man,
know.
I'm just everywhere. Yeah, everywhere I would go, if I ever left my state, you were there every time. Like, I was starting to check my location to see if I'm like pinging on you or something.
Yeah, like sharing location. I'm just following you everywhere.
Yeah. Like, this guy knows what's up. He knows the good wheeling. So, but yeah, so I wheeled that 4-door Rubicon for 4 years. After that, the Gladiator diesel came out, and I tried my hand at building one of those, and buddy, I loved it. It was so good. It was such good power from the factory, great fuel economy. You could carry everything you want in a Gladiator. The only downside is I love rock crawling, and that extra long wheelbase.
Yeah.
Man, I learned the hard way. It scrubs
Everything.
real hard.
Everything.
Oh yeah. And so I was actually in Texas, in Amarillo, when I crushed in the rear door on my brand new Gladiator. Yeah, man. So and it was after that trip, as I'm hammering out the body damage, that I realized it's time to take a step back. Let's reduce technology. Let's go back to the older Jeeps. And so I began building what I'm wheeling now. And that is a 97 TJ, short wheelbase, not the LJ yet, guys. I'm sorry. But that's coming soon. But yeah, so it's a TJ 97 on 1-ton axles. I'm running a Dana Super 60 front, Sterling 10.5 rear on 40s bead locks, air lockers front and rear. And right now, I don't know if you can actually see it in the image, but my new power plant is built and waiting for its home in the Jeep. I'm just waiting for an Atlas to be able to go, because I've got a Turbo 400 trans with a reverse manual valve body built into it. I just need did I say Dana 300? I need an Atlas. I need an Atlas to go behind all this.
Absolutely.
So, as soon as that comes in, it'll be time to up the PowerPoint.
I've got a couple of buddies that are instantly, I know when this gets posted Wednesday, I'm going to get a lot of hate texts, because they're like, TJs, the TJs are back. All these people.
Yeah, TJ Power, man.
They're gonna hate on my JK once more. So it's okay. It's okay.
No,
I know. I'm not gonna name any names, but Joe is just gonna. I already see the text message going ding when he sees this video. So that's awesome, though. That's awesome that you've kind of like gone back. And I think we talked about that in our last podcast. The 3.8 versus the 3.6, and then we kind of went on to the JL of how much technology is in the newer ones, and sometimes is not necessarily a good thing. And so
no,
I kind of want to stay with my 3.8.
It has so many advantages.
Yeah,
it has so many advantages, but man, I'm like, no kidding. A couple of my things in the time that I had my Gladiator, which was a little over a year, dude, I had a couple recalls that I had to deal with, high pressure fuel pump failure, multiple diesel exhaust fluids,
Mm,
check engines, and then I got stranded on the road one day because
no.
my harness just decided to drop off the firewall onto the turbo and it burned through the harness. So I had to have the harness replaced. Luckily, it
Wow.
was under Jeep Wave's warranty, which, by the
Yeah,
way, Jeep Wave actually has really good warranty. Like, man, these guys were great.
that's crazy. But yeah, I mean, shoot, just to give y'all a little hindsight into my world and my Jeep, it went out a long time ago. The 4-wheel drive sensor. Yeah, the Jeep thinks it's in 2-wheel drive all the time. There is no 4-wheel. It goes into 4-wheel drive, guys, but the sensor does not know it, nor does the Jeep know it. So it just thinks it's in 2-wheel
It
drive
doesn't need to
all the
know.
No, it doesn't need to know. Absolutely. You get more wheel speed that way or more horsepower,
That's it.
And that's it.
Yeah. I
So
like this.
I know. So it's just good. It's good. But let's go back into some more questions because we will go off on a tangent forever. But
Yeah.
it's been great catching up with you. I feel like we haven't seen each other in a while. So I was like, I need to text him. And then next thing you know, he's on the podcast. So it just kind of happens like that.
Yeah. Buddy, we got to get back together. Man, we used to have some good
Absolutely.
wheeling.
All right. So best wheeling trip, just to kind of know more about you and your favorite things that you like to do. If you could pick one trip or favorite trail, or, could be different. What you got?
Mm. So, honestly, one of my standout trips, it was not the most difficult by a long shot, but the Pirate Jeep Jamboree that you and I met on down in Llano, Texas, has
Yes.
always been a standout. And I definitely need to get back on the books and get a reservation back on that one. That is, to this day, the pictures that I show people the most when they ask about where
Right.
have you been when you go off-roading. I love showing them the top of that granite structure in the
Right.
back country of Texas.
Definitely cool. Definitely a cool place. I'd
And
like to go back. I got to take Caitlin because my dad went with me on that trip, and so Caitlin didn't
oh
get to make it
yeah,
to that one. So we'll have to get back out there for sure. But
absolutely. We'll get the wives together and let's go back out.
absolutely, there you go. But let's go into the next question because this is
Yeah.
something that has been really kind of, I guess, for lack of a better statement, like kind of pulling my heartstrings a little bit, for the off-road community. And
hmm
so the Jeep community is a little weird right now, and if you have questions about that, just you're more than welcome to send me an email. But what is one good thing in the off-road community right now, and what would you say one bad thing is? And we want to be positive here, and so that bad thing is how can we improve that bad thing? So let's give the good first. Always got to give the good feedback first.
Yeah, man, this is actually so easy when it comes to the off-road community because the number one thing that you see in the Jeep community, as opposed to any other portion of the automotive world, is the camaraderie.
Right.
Now, you and I know that, like you were saying earlier, we love to give each other a hard time and we love to pick on
Right.
each other. And everybody's always going to say TJ was the last great year of Jeep or whatever. Can-Am is the greatest side by side. But the camaraderie that
Right.
goes behind an off-roader at the end of the day, man, the fact that you will see people you've never met in your life spend hours a day on a trail with you, helping you achieve an obstacle or drag your broken rig out,
Right.
you're never going to see that anywhere else.
Right.
Nowhere else have I ever experienced that.
So that's the good thing. What right
Yeah.
now in today's world would you say the bad thing is?
Well, with the growing interest in the off-roading community, and it's become really popular lately. The
Right.
problem is we're also dragging in a lot of people who treat the outdoors as if it's really their own personal trash can.
Right.
I mean, there's not enough people with enough responsibility who remember to pick up your trash, leave it better than you found it. And, that's one thing. If we could find a way to, just force more people into that tread lightly
Right.
and, understand what you need to do, when you
Right.
go out there, just leave it a little better than you found it. And it's
Right.
not hard, but it seems to affect every avenue. The Toyota guys, the side by sides, the Jeep owners.
Right.
I mean, you gotta clean up your skinny pedal sodas, before you leave.
Absolutely. And I completely agree with that. I'll be straight up and honest with you. Whether people agree with me or not, I'm anti-alcohol on the trail because I've seen it. Me being a fireman, I see it in the real world, and it just doesn't mix going down the interstate, and it
Yeah.
doesn't mix when you're off road. So I don't know where people think that it is, but that's just me. And so I've seen a lot of bad
That's where you get
accidents.
all those. That's where you get all those wild YouTube videos of
Yes.
the 14 flip down the hills and
Yeah. And
things.
people are getting
Yeah,
hurt and stuff like that. It's just not a good
that was
idea,
liquid
guys.
courage involvement.
Yes, and so I don't encourage that. Now, I do not mind if you are at the, campground afterwards and want to hang out and drink whatever beverage you want to drink, that's fine. But while you're off road, I try to stick to the, got to keep hydrated. It's hot out there usually most of the
Yeah,
time
man.
because I don't will in
That,
the cold.
that's one thing. That's one thing I've always appreciated about Windrock is they take the time to actually monitor everybody's coolers before they go in. They
Right.
they spot check your cooler to make sure they're like because they know people are trying to
Right.
drag this stuff out into the trails, and
Right.
so I've actually appreciated the fact that they've done that, and because of that. You have a lot less people, one, getting drunk and just leaving stuff around and breaking rigs on trails, destroying the trails. So
Right.
it helps them a lot.
Yeah, and so just pick up your trash, guys. I mean, we sell sackets, basically a trash can that hangs off the back of your Jeep
Oh
or vehicle,
yeah,
whatever. And so put it in there. It's not hard, or put a trash bag in your Jeep or your vehicle of choice. TJ people. And so just do
yeah,
the, just pick it up and take it with you because. So here's the problem, guys: is you might not think that bottle or can that you threw out or left is a big deal. The problem is not just you dropping it right then and there. It's when someone of authority, whether government, whether who owns the property, sees it, then those places get shut down. And so when those places get shut down,
yeah,
eventually we don't have anywhere to ride. And so that's what it's about. It's not about that you left the trash. It's about that park or that place getting shut down for everybody else because of a few bad apples, decided to throw their cans away, So that's what we're saying. We just don't want places to get shut down. And going back to the whole tread lightly thing, making sure that you take care of the trails, that you don't, you're not just beating them up, you're not spinning out your tires for no reason, things of that nature, because it goes back to I've had a few people kind of ask me this lately is like, how many people do you take with you on the trail? I said, usually no more than like 10 rigs at the most. And that's really to kind of keep
yeah,
a less impact on the trail and one, not to keep the trail clogged up. And, if you see someone, if you see a group with 5 Jeeps, or sorry, if you see a Jeep, or sorry, if you see a group with like 20 Jeeps go down the trail, and then you see a group of like 2 Razors, and then maybe a couple 4 wheelers, and then, maybe, a dirt bike coming through, and then the trail's torn up somewhere down the line. I'm not hating on the Razors or 4 wheelers, but maybe they did it, but who's going to get in trouble? The 20 Jeeps that just passed by, because that's who's going to get blamed. So we just need to
oh
take
yeah,
care. We just need to take care of it as a whole. And so whether that's, go in groups of 5, groups of 10, and kind of space yourself out. I've seen that happen before, but we just want to take care of it. And I'm not saying that people are doing wrong by going in big groups or doing things. It's just the perception of the people that are in charge, and they're going to take it away. But I could go into a rant on that.
yeah.
It's
Oh
just,
yeah. Let's see. That's my point. Oh, I could go all day on this, man.
yeah, it's the truth though. I mean, and a lot, and I probably will get a lot of hate mail because of that. That's fine. But it's the truth. And I think the biggest group I've had, which was on a private event at a Jeep Jamboree, we had a lot of people in the group. That's completely different because they've like either rented out the park or there are certain things in place for that group. That's completely different. But just like your everyday, or weekend, weekend warrior, riding out on the trails, you just got to pay attention to where you're riding because those game wardens and sheriffs are watching. And you
Yeah.
might
And
not see
another
them, but
thing
they're
about
watching.
those, yeah, and those Jeep Jamborees, another great thing about that is when they are planning these out. Yes, I'm sure everybody watching who's been on a Jeep Jamboree, they're probably screaming at the top of their lungs right now. They're like, well, Jeep Jamboree set up 25 people in my group,
Right.
and we were all daisy chain. Yes, but Jeep Jamboree is amazing at land conservation and
Right.
understanding the effects that they have on these trails.
Right.
And they take the time and they actually do trail maintenance
Yes.
after everyone leaves these trails. So if you guys are thinking that right now, you're like, well, I was on a Jeep Jamboree and we were destroying some trails and it was
No.
a WMA or something. I don't know. But
Yeah.
no, these guys go the full length to make sure there's no impact left that can come back on us. And we
Right.
leave it, again, better than we found it.
So I'm actually a trail guide for Jeep Jamboree, and we actually go out there like a full week almost ahead. We trim bushes, we take care of the trail, we make sure that, if there's any bad spots, we take care of those before the participants ever get there. And then, as we're going through the trail system, we are making sure, because there's like 3 or 4 trail guides per group of 20. There's always somebody in the front, always somebody in the rear. You might have some people in the middle. And so they're always maintaining that trail and making sure that it's not too bad, or hey, let's go do the bypass this time, or let's go around. We're always, that's always in the forefront of our mind, is making sure that we're taking care of the property or whatever trail system we're on.
Yeah, man. Jeep Jamboree's logistics
Oh,
are
absolutely.
unreal.
It's
How much
crazy.
they have figured out.
It's crazy. So let's go on to the next question.
Yeah.
Because I'll go on that for all day. So how can we as a
Yeah, man.
community how can we that are in the community grow the community, you think?
Oh, man. So, you know, we are at a point right now where the off-road community is definitely growing faster than it ever has, because for the first
Right.
time, especially with the introduction of the 2007 four-door Wrangler, and
Right.
now that the Forerunners are even more prevalent, so you got four-door vehicles, families can get involved. It's a family sport, not
Right.
just a you and your buddy sport anymore. And so
Right.
it's becoming so big. And I think the best thing we can do to properly grow this community at this point is really just education and reaching out to the people that you see around you. And especially when you know there are people, I think, so I'll put it this way. In Georgia, there are only a handful of regulated and allowable off road trails to hit, which means that the side product is so many people will find private and illegally trailed roads, and they will
Right.
just go tear stuff up, and they're having a great time. And this looks so horrible on the off road community. And the problem, I would say, for lack of a better word, is an ignorance to what they're actually doing to our community. So
Right.
if you are an off-road guy and you really want to make an impact and a difference on your off-road community, and you're mad about these trails getting shut down, then man, the best thing you can do is meet someone new and introduce them to the proper off-roading locations, community, the guidelines that they should be following. Man, it's amazing what simple education can do for people without actually having to degrade them, berate them, and
Right.
chastise them. Man, it really opens people up, because everyone shuts down whenever we
Right.
start trying to just, preach down to them. But when you talk to them from a level of friendship, you're going to make a connection. You're going to make a new friend. You're going to make a wheeling buddy, and
Right.
you're going to open them up to a greater world.
Right. Absolutely. And I completely agree with you. You know, making sure that you are on the right place and it's not illegal, and just doing your due diligence to tread lightly and everything. I think that's going to grow the community, because the problem is the first time they get in trouble or something like that, you start losing people, and then they don't go off road
Yes.
anymore. And so then it makes the whole
Yeah.
community look bad, and then people don't want to get into it because they're like, oh, it's not worth it.
Exactly. Yeah. Then they're angry because they bought a $70,000 Rubicon that the first time they put it in four-wheel drive, they got a ticket for trespass, and
Right.
now they got to pay for, damages to property, and
Right.
now they just want to sell it off. And then
Yeah.
they hate everything off road.
Right.
So yeah, man, I think just really just introducing people to the right locations. So many people don't even know about the off road trails that we have that are legal to us, that
Right.
are amazing in the East Coast. I mean, East
Right.
Coast has some awesome wheeling that they're
Oh,
missing out on.
absolutely.
Teach
And
it to
got
them.
And guys, if you have any questions whatsoever, I guarantee you Dan would not mind sending, messaging you back. I sure as heck don't mind sending you a message back.
Yeah.
So if you want to email me, send me a message on Facebook or Instagram, things of that nature, I'll be more than happy to get back to you. Just a reminder, if it takes me a day, I might be at the fire department and might have seen it, but I will get back to you, I promise. And so, send me a second one if you don't mind. But I really try to pay attention to those messages. I really, really do. And so I really want to help. And so if you have a question, if you think it's a stupid question, ask it. I'll be more than happy to help. And I guarantee you Dan would too. And give you some places for off-roading, whether it's a trail system, this, that, and the other. And I think we've talked about it in I've talked about it in past episodes. But, a lot of these off-road places get a bad rep because they think that it's like buggy only, or you have to tear up your Jeep to go there, and it's absolutely not true. I don't know where that's part of the community that's trying to get rid of people in the community because they put out all this bad information. Just like the news puts out bad information, there's people in our community that puts out bad information, and so sometimes you just need to check it.
Yeah, man, you got to delete out the purists, man, that are trying to
Yeah.
run off the newcomers, and
Or the people that just
there's
don't
always
know
going
any
to be
better.
those people.
Yeah, they're people.
That's it.
They just might not know any better.
Yeah.
And so just take everything.
Yeah, and remember that there's no bad comments. Everybody, I meet so many people now that are afraid to say what's on their mind, the questions. It's kind of like they're back in ninth grade. They're afraid to
Right.
raise their hand and say, I have a question. I'm afraid I'm about to get destroyed on the social media.
Right.
Guys, if you come to me, email me, post on YouTube, post on Judd, post on Waypoint X, none of us, like he said, you may get some hate in the comments. And you know what? That's all right. Let the people who are angry at life be angry at life.
Yeah,
But we will help you.
Yeah,
Yes.
send us a private message.
We will help
we'll
you
be
find
more than
it.
happy.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't let the keyboard warriors, shy you away. So,
that's it.
Like I said, me and Dan, we could probably talk for 2 hours about all this because I think it really it pulls at our heartstrings because we want the off-road community to grow. We want people to have fun because there are so many cool places. Just like he was talking about Texas, just so many amazing, beautiful places that you can go with just a Jeep. And getting out there and exploring, and it's just amazing.
That's what I tell everybody. That's the Jeep is not what I love. The Jeep is cool. The Jeep is not what I love, though. What I love is where it gets me. The places I've been in all the states around this country and views no one else gets to see. And I mean, it's just, oh man, it's intoxicating. Yeah. And I want more people to see that.
Now, I love my Jeep. No, don't get me wrong. I absolutely, I don't think I'd ever will with anything else. But it's kind of like, going to the Mexican restaurant and you ordering the cheese dip. The chip is just the delivery system for the cheese dip. And so your off-road, awesome adventure is the cheese dip. And, chip is just the transportation to get there. So
that's
now,
perfect.
I still like the chip. Don't get me wrong, but you want the cheese dip.
Yeah, it's great. It's good together.
Absolutely. So you just have to have both. Oh man. Yes. So let's get into some of our final questions so we can let everybody have their great day or night whenever they're listening to this.
All right.
Because we could go on forever. What is your off-road goal for this year?
Man, my off-road goal for this year, well, it's been a hard few months since I haven't been back out off-road actually in a little while. But my main off-road goal is to get back off-road. But
there we go.
I'm really trying to get out to Colorado before the snow hits again later in the year. And sadly, that is one place I have not been. I've always just kind of lusted over the videos and the photos. And
I'm sorry.
yeah, I'm a little miffed about that. I didn't get to see you out there, so I'm gonna find out when you're out there, and I'm gonna find you, and we're riding again.
There we go.
So yeah, Colorado definitely my high point to hit this year.
So I'm guessing that's really your dream location, your next one. But if money was not an issue, and we're gonna take Colorado off, if money was not an issue, where would you take your Jeep tomorrow?
Oh. Man, you busted out the hard one.
I know.
Oh man, if money was no issue, Here's what I would do. I wouldn't even take my Jeep. I want to build another Gladiator, and I want to go to Alaska.
That
Man,
would be
those
cool.
are the coolest
Yes.
documentary videos.
Yes.
Oh man,
That would
that's
be
what I'm
cool.
missing out with. I've got to be part of that.
Yeah, I think I would
But
love to go wheel in Alaska, but it's gonna have to be a lot warmer.
mhm.
I'm not a cold guy, like, so, January, February, you're not gonna see me out on the trail. You know,
No,
it's
no.
just not gonna
Yeah.
happen because the thing is, so here's the problem, is I'm usually the one that fixes stuff and has to get out and spot,
Yep.
and I don't wanna do it because it's too cold. So
Story of my life, man. I'd be freezing. I'd have missing toes from frostbite after the first 3
yes.
days. So
Yeah.
you notice that's why I said not my Jeep. I know my place. That
Yeah.
TJ is not going anywhere near snow. Not that far
No.
north.
No, but I think it would be cool. It would be really cool. But
Oh, so
so you
cool.
want to go Colorado next, and you said you want to get off road. So our slogan at Waypoint X is where's your next destination? And so where would that be next? I mean, probably in your garage putting in the motor, but your next off road.
Yeah, yeah. Next destination is back on the lift. We're going to do some relocation on some links. But so no, the next location that we're supposed to be going to, we actually missed our previous location because my engine didn't get installed in time,
Mm.
which was supposed to be Moab. Yes, this month, actually, yeah, this week was supposed to be Moab.
Oh
So
man.
we were filming this when I was supposed to be out in Greatness, but so instead, I've had to readjust my schedule a little bit, and I'm actually not going too far. My next destination is actually Chaco, just over the Alabama
Okay.
line. Chacalaco,
Yeah.
man, there's some great wheeling there,
Oh yeah.
and I'm gonna go out there, and I just want to go just be out in the woods and just have a good time. And East Coast wheeling, as cool as the West Coast is, you can't discredit East Coast. It's so much fun.
Yeah. We might not have the views, and I can't put the drone up because there's a lot of trees, but it is
Yeah.
fun. It is
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. And I missed you. By the way, I missed you out at Beasley Knob. I hate that we never
I
got to make that
know.
happen, but I'm going to do another shootout, so I want you there.
Okay. Okay. We'll see if the 3.8
Game
can keep
on.
up with the new engine.
Well, if I ever get the thing in there,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, there's that.
yeah, got to jimmy
Well,
that thing in.
there you go. Well, Dan, we really do appreciate you coming on. And guys, go check out Dan at Mud Tire Media, whether it's the Instagram, but definitely go over to his YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button. Leave him a like, leave a comment, hit that bell for all notifications, and he will greatly appreciate it. As well as
So much.
subscribe to mine and do all the following that I said for his, and go over to Spotify and hit that follow button if you are listening on Spotify. But guys, we really do appreciate Dan coming on. Maybe he can join us again, hopefully, because there's a lot of things I think we could talk about in the off-road community. Not only one to help, but to grow it. And I think that's the biggest thing. And another reason why we started Waypoint X is to grow the off-road community, to get solid information out there, and just to be real with people. Because this crazy world we live in, we just want the good wheeling and just to be off-road in nature and enjoy it. And so that's what we're here about. So if you have a question about anything that we've talked about today, hit Dan up, hit myself up, and we'll be more than happy to help you in any way possible we can. And so
Absolutely.
yeah, so like I said, go check him out on all his social media things. And guys, we really do appreciate you coming on. So thank you so much.
Hey, thank you for having me, buddy. I can't wait to see you again.
Well, guys, thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Waypoint X Wednesday. Like I said again, we really do appreciate it, and we hope to see you out on the trail.